Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vic here, back with another Madden 22 rebuild. I know I haven't uploaded in a couple days. I think I just posted a Rams rebuild yesterday, but we are here to rebuild the Atlanta Falcons, but without Calvin Ridley. So later today, whenever I'm recording this, I believe this is March 7th. It is Monday, March 7th. Calvin Ridley got caught betting on himself, I believe. I think he was betting that he would get like 125 yards in a game. I know he bet $1,500 and a couple other things as well. So he got suspended for a full year. One of the dumbest suspensions I've seen. I think at most you should fine the dude like 30 grand and then just call it a day. Who cares? A whole year, dude? That's ridiculous. Calvin Ridley already wanted to be on another team. He already expressed, not necessarily expressed, but he already mentioned a little bit that he wanted to be on a different team and that he would be hitting free agency. So, with that being said, I don't think any team is going to touch him until he's off his suspension. That's how it usually goes. Same thing happened to Antonio Brown. He got a suspension, then as soon as he got off, the Buccaneers got him. So with that being said, he's going to move to the very bottom of my depth chart to make sure he gets no reps. That's the suspension we're going to give him, and he's going to stay on the team for a year technically, or he'll technically be cut. And then I think they'll trade him away if they can. Is he on his final year of his deal? If he is on the final year of his deal, I'll just cut him from the team. I believe he is. No, he still has 2022 to be paid. So, yeah. So, after the 2021 season, which is in Madden, of course. So, he has still a whole nother year on his contract. If this was his final year, I would just cut him. But it's fine. Cordero Patterson we got here. He's pretty good. But in general, I just can't have him because he's 30 years old. Yes, I know he's great, but he's not going to be a long-term option. I'm going to keep him for this season. Matt Ryan is not going to be a long-term option. His contract is horrible. This needs to be restructured. I don't know how the Falcons are going to pay him $48 million a year. That's not acceptable. Josh Rosen here. I believe he was my starting quarterback last time, but I'm not going to make that happen this time. Russell Gage is our number one, unfortunately. Tajay Sharp. Zacchaeus, I believe is how you pronounce it. Jake Matthews' contract is horrible. I'm going to keep him for the first season, but this contract needs to go. I'm probably actually going to trade him. I can't trade him at the midseason mark. Actually, I need to trade this now along with Dante Fowler Jr. So this O-line is good. Hayden Hurst, I will just let hit free agency. I usually trade him, but I'll just let him hit free agency. Kyle Pitts has superstar X Factor, I believe. Defensively, Dante Fowler Jr. has a horrible contract. Is he even on this team anymore? Did they get rid of him? I guess they got rid of him. I didn't even know that. Foyesade Lucan, Deion Jones. I didn't even know they moved to a 3-4 scheme. Harris, Harmon, Richie Grant. I thought Richie Grant was above him. I don't have an outdated roster because Cordero Patterson has superstar dev. Isaiah Oliver, Foster Moreo, Deron Harmon. I'm going to start Marlon Davidson over Kaminsky. I know John Kaminsky actually usually does pretty good in simulation, but Marlon Davidson, he just has star dev. AJ Terrell is great. If you say Trayvon Diggs is better than AJ Terrell, then you don't know what you're talking about. So, I'm going to get into these trades, and I'm just going to trade away Jake Matthews because I need this contract gone. You can't restructure things or ask a player to restructure, which is really annoying. And Bears seem like a perfect fit for him. Trading Jake Matthews in a 6th-round pick for the Bears' 2nd-round pick, projected pick number 33 in the draft. So that's good for us. Got that contract out of the way. And yeah, we're just going to have to eat the dirt here in the first year. We're going to go to vertical zone run. We're going to go to base 4-3. This is the best playbook, so we may do good in simulation. I would actually like a really, really low pick in the draft. But I lower Calvin Ridley back down to where he's supposed to be. Base 4-3, move Foyesade Lucan to left outside linebacker. I'll move Marlon Davidson up. Team seems pretty good to start out. I mean, defense obviously needs work at safety, and then I'm cool with the linebackers. D-line doesn't seem horrible. Grady Jarrett's going to have to go eventually. Davidson's going to move up because he's younger, I believe. Are you? No, he's really not. Whatever, it really doesn't matter. Go to specialist. Let's see what we got. Cordero Patterson, I'm going to move up. I just want him to get all the stats because why not? Maybe he could get X Factor. Who cares? And you know what? Sure. I actually feel like going into a running scheme. Why not? Let's go into Baltimore's playbook. Go to running scheme because I'm trying to tank this season. Where is it? Running scheme, Baltimore. Come on, show me it. Am I stupid? I passed it. somewhere along the way. I guess I'm just really dumb. Bro, come on. Where is it? Miami. I already got here. Giants, Jacksonville, Detroit, Green Bay, Carolina, New England. God, I feel... There it is. Okay. Then we're going to try and switch to Las Vegas defense. I want to see how that works. Las Vegas Raiders. I want to see how that works for this upcoming simulation. But apart from that, guys, it is now time to move in to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a loss to the Dolphins, as we are 1-5. That is exactly what I want to see. Keep auto-generator rookies. Jaron Tracy looks like the top QB on the board. Players ready to negotiate. Let's see what we got here. Cordero Patterson, I already expressed it. His age is a huge problem. Despite him having a great overall, I can't keep him. Foaside Alucon is someone I would love to keep around. Up that money. $15 million a year is kind of steep, but he resigns. Young Wei Koo, I will resign you. Even though I could get you on a really cheap deal in free agency, I'll just resign you here. And he resigns. Harmon, no. Russell Gage, that's a solid piece. I'll keep him. I mean, he's getting a little bit overpaid because he's receiver 1 right now. Hayden Hurst, no. Thomas Morstead, no. Isaiah Oliver, how cheap are you? Really depends. That is a cheap contract. I'll keep Isaiah Oliver. I'll keep that. Because he's pretty cheap and he is overall not horrible, I would say. So let's go to roster, see what we got here. And yeah, making sure Hayden Hurst down there, Calvin Ridley. Let's move him down even further to make sure he gets no reps. See his stats and contracts. Does he have anything this year? Yeah, he doesn't have a single touch this year. That's what matters. Trying to get him 0 reps on this team for this first year. So anyways, guys, it's time to move into the playoffs, not Super Bowl playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs as we were 3-14, coming off a loss to the Saints. That's exactly what I want to see. Our rushing game was 21st, even though we were in a running scheme. I'm so glad. We were probably the worst team in the league. Matt Ryan did awful. We were in a running scheme. Not going to blame him. Worst offense in the NFL, 24th best defense, 3,700 yards, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions to 19 touchdowns is a horrible ratio, even if we're in a running scheme. Cordero Patterson, 11 touchdowns, 3.9 per carry, 1,000 yards. We're in a running scheme. We should have a lot more. Matt Ryan is the next Lamar Jackson with these rushing attempts. Russell Gage, 1,000 yards, 7 TDs, 4 TDs, and almost 900 yards for Tajay Sharp. Looking into it defensively, Deion Jones with 122 tackles, Foaside Alucon with 121. Tackles for a loss, 16 for Duke Ejiofor. Sacks, 10.5 for Grady Jarrett. Interceptions, 2 for Foaside and 2 for Fabian Moreo. Only 4 total interceptions on the team. That's sad. Safeties is 1 for James Vaughters, and defensive touchdowns is 0. So our team did horrible. I wanted them to do bad. I want the number 1 overall pick. Now let's get into the offseason. And here we are in the offseason. Super high scoring Super Bowl, 45-35. Aaron Rodgers wins Super Bowl MVP. And there are no Falcons here for any awards. So we are going to go into the roster to see if there is any development upgrades. Matt Ryan's going to have to go soon. Matt Ryan's taking a hit, major hit to his overall. Same with Cordero Patterson. Kyle Pitts was already an X factor. Defensively looking into it, Foaside Alucon gets superstar dev, and Moreo gets star dev, but he's already 28, so it really doesn't matter. And apart from that, really crummy upgrades other than Foaside Alucon. Let's move into the resigned players here to see who we have. I'm pretty sure I already resigned everyone I wanted, so I'm going to try and look for that QB in the draft. Maybe hopefully get something there. And what do we got here for the 2021 retirements? We are the NFC South. Yeah, we are. Ndamukong Suh retires. And let's go to struggling QB. I don't really care about that because he's going to be gone soon. And Cordero Patterson, 83 overall. He dropped 3 overalls just in 1 year. No. Moreo, no. Everyone else here is just a no. I don't want anyone at all. So apart from that, guys, we have $29 million to spend. Let's get to free agency. After free agency, we ended up picking up Patrick Ricard on a cheap deal, Jacoby Myers on a pretty solid deal, and Joseph Charlton, a punter, because I guess we just needed a position to fill. Super cheap deal. Let's get to the draft. I believe we should have the number 1 overall pick. With the number 1 overall pick in the draft, I'm picking up Randy Elam, hidden dev, 94 throw power, 80 speed, 6'3", A awareness, A stamina, C stiff arm, C throw on the run. But I saw the A awareness and A throw under pressure. Thought he was the number 1 pick in my opinion. But if I go to the draft board here, The number 1 QB on the board was Charlie Saxton, and the number 2 was Jared Tracy. Number 4 was Evan Archer, and then Nate Blanchard was number 5. All top 5 QBs were projected to go. Charlie Saxton, this is the skills I got out of him. D carrying, D C injury, F juke move, C stiff arm, F spin move. I don't care about that. I'm drafting a quarterback. Why can't I see any of his throwing ability? He's the number 1 overall projected QB in the class, and that's all I get. And then Jaron Tracy. I see A, awareness, and I see B, throw accuracy, deep, C, injuries, D, spin move. Like, I didn't think that was good enough. I thought my QB was better. Evan Archer, I saw B, throw accuracy, mid, so I didn't think he was the number 1 overall pick. So let's see what the Steelers go with. They're probably going to go with Charlie Saxton, if I would assume so. Charlie Saxton, Lions go Evan Archer, and then Eagles go Jaron Tracy. 5th QB, no, the 5th QB doesn't go off the board. Finally, Nate Blanchard goes off the board. I'll look at all their developments once I'm done with this draft. And now in the number 1 pick in the 2nd round, hidden dev, 86 strength, Brandon Paulson. B, block power, C, run block finesse, B, run block power, and C, pass block finesse. Thought he was good enough. He's probably a lower overall, but I'm upgrading my offensive line. NFL, Charlie Saxton, 75 normal dev. I'm glad I didn't pick him. I was right not to pick him. I have better throw power and better speed than him and a better development. Evan Archer, I was questionable about, but I thought he was better than Charlie Saxton. So let's see what we got with him. How are you? Superstar. Ooh. And then Jaron Tracy, 73 overall. I knew Saxton was a bust. I just couldn't see any of his throwing stats, so I wasn't going to risk that. I'm glad I didn't. Jaron Tracy is a star dev. And Chris Aguilar. Nate Blanchard is 71 normal. Wow, so I was super right about not taking Saxton, and I didn't see Blanchard as a number 1 pick potential, but Archer seems to be a number 1 pick potential, and I chose the best and highest overall pick in the draft. I don't know if he has superstar dev, though, so he's going to be a QB of the future. Paulson, I want playing left guard, but it's going to force him to play right guard. What do you play? Jalen Mayfield is going to move over to right guard, so that way he can play left guard here. My new rookie, right guard. And what do we got? He's going to move there. Chris Lindstrom, I would like not to play left tackle. He's going to, he's going to play it, but I'm not going to pay him like a right tackle. Calvin Ridley needs to go now because the Falcons would not re-sign him in real life, and he's already expressed that he doesn't want to be on the Falcons anymore. So he's going to go Tampa Bay. And where is Miami for the playbooks? Where is it? Come on, show me. Miami. There it is. So Calvin Ridley has to go now. Looks like Jacoby Myers is going to be my number 1, even though he is a slot player. Looks like he's probably going to have to hit free agency, or I'll trade him at the midseason mark. But for right now, he's going to be my number 1 receiver because technically he's off his suspension now. But I will look to trade him at the midseason mark, so he will be my number 1 receiver. For right now, Mike Davis is not a good look for us. Defensively, we're looking not amazing. Ramsey is all right, but he's going to be my number 1 for sure. Got that. Specialist. Got all that. Cool. Just making sure we're all good. Calvin Ridley. I want to go pick up a running back in free agency right now if I can. Maybe to replace Mike Davis. Cordero Patterson's here. AJ Boye. I'll sign AJ Boye for 1 year. I don't have the money. I have negative $2 million because of Matt Ryan's contract. And nobody will be able to take his contract, so I will have to cut him because he's getting paid $48 million a year. I can't cut him right now. Dang it, we're in a cap situation because of Matt Ryan. Anyways, it's time to move into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark as we are 3-3, coming off a close win to the Eagles. Second in the division behind the 6-1 Buccaneers. Who do we got here? Calvin Ridley needs to be traded away if we can trade him away. Let's see what we got. $3 million for the Bengals. What do we got? Okay, looks like the Bengals have cap room to afford him. Trading Calvin Ridley to the Bengals as they have another amazing wide receiver as we receive a second and a third from the Bengals. They're not projected to do very good this year. Grady Jarrett, I'm not going to resign. He's already regressing. No point. Chris Lindstrom, glad I didn't move him to left tackle because now I don't have to pay him like one. He's playing there, and he resigns. Mike Davis, no. Kendall Sheffield, no, I'm not going to do that. I already signed Isaiah Oliver. What do I want to do with Matt Ryan? That is the big question for me because I do have to pay him a lot, and I don't think any team can take his cap hit at all. So is that still a big? Yeah, it's still the same thing. Do I just bite the bullet? Yeah, I don't think any team's going to take him. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet for this offseason and just take the hit and do that. I'm going to have negative 21 million, but I am going to bite the bullet on that. Just take it where it's at. So anyways, guys, apart from that, it's now time to move in to the playoffs. Here we are at the midseason mark, going 6-11 behind the 8-9 Panthers and 10-7 Buccaneers. Did the Panthers slip in? No, they did not slip in. Buccaneers get the 4th seed. Yeah, we fell off really hard coming off a win to the Seahawks. Stats and awards here. Let's see what we got. 2nd in passing yards, 13th in passing touchdowns, 23rd best offense in the league, 18th best defense. Need a new running back, 4,800 yards, 29 TDs, 14 receptions, a little bit too much. 12 TDs, 3.5 per carry, 781 yards. Jacoby, 102 receptions, 1,300 yards, 9 TDs. Great year. Russell Gage, 5 TDs, 941. And then Kyle Pitts, 900 yards, 7 TDs. Looking into it defensively, Deion Jones, 124 tackles for a loss, 25 for John Kaminsky. Sacks, 7.5 for John Kaminsky. I told you he does great in simulation. Interceptions, 4 for A.J. Terrell. Safeties is 0. Defensive touchdowns is 0. So apart from that, guys, it is now time to get into the offseason. Chiefs beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl 21-20 in a thriller. Patrick Mahomes wins league MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. And Randy Elm, I'm going to call him, or Elam. Elm, I'm going to call him, wins Rookie of the Year. So that should be at least Superstar Dev. What is he going to have? Superstar Dev, so I'm pretty sure he started out with Star Dev. So Archer was probably better overall. Well, actually, he doesn't have Superstar Dev. They didn't give it to him. I'm not going to give him X Factor because he didn't have that amazing of a year considering his touchdowns were low and his interceptions weren't that high, but he came with Superstar Dev, so I definitely got the best player in the class. By far, Jacoby Myers gets Superstar Dev. I should have started Kirkpatrick this year because he is a rookie, isn't he? No, 1 year. Cameron Kirkpatrick. And then where are you? There you go, Chris Lindstrom. Defensively looking into it, Foyesade Oluokun has X Factor somehow now. Outside linebackers just progress insanely fast. And yeah, Kaminsky also has Star Dev now. I'm going to move Marlon Davidson into defensive tackle. He is 303 pounds, so I guess it makes a little bit of sense to do that. Though he's not going to be that amazing. And move, come on, give me defensive tackle. Is Kaminsky 27 years old now? Because if he is, I won't re-sign him. I believe he is. Yeah, I'm not going to re-sign him because he starts regression the next season. He won't even make it to an 80 overall. We're going to get into the next week here. We have, I believe, $56 million to spend in free agency even after taking the cap hit to Matt Ryan. Because Matt Ryan we would have had to pay $48 million to. Since I cut him, we saved $21 million technically. Even though we lost $21 million from cutting him, we have $104 million to spend actually. Grady Jarrett, no. Mike Davis, no. Sheffield, no. Everyone else here I've already gone through and said no. So we have $104 million to spend. Let's get to free agency. Okay, so now after one of the most massive free agency I think I've ever had in Madden, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Adrian Amos, Montez Sweat, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Greedy Williams. Amazing defensive upgrade. Adrian Amos, secondary. Montez Sweat, rushing. Sean Murphy-Bunting, secondary. Greedy Williams, secondary. Tyreek Hill got the running back upgrade and got a true wide receiver 1 for our new quarterback, Randy. Now it's time to get into the draft and probably get a defensive lineman or a left tackle. Now we're picking up a left tackle, Brian Watkins at pick number 7. 87 strength, hidden dev, probably not that good. He has an F at run block, but he has B run block power and C run block finesse. I don't know if that makes sense, but he is pretty solid pass blocker. He's a pass protector archetype out of Texas, so not that horrible of a pick. Now I'm trading away Richie Grant in my second round pick to trade up in the draft for the Eagles' second round pick. I just drafted a free safety at number 7, Deontay Dunbar. So he's going to be my replacement, I guess. He wasn't really that good of a pick, so I didn't really show it. But there is a left guard here that I do want. I don't know if... Ooh, I'm getting sidetracked now. Deontay Bush. Oh, man, he looks good. Oh, I want this instead. Oh, yes, I was right. DeAndre Bush. Hidden dev. Oh, yeah. I'm going to make that my right outside linebacker. And I'm going to trade up in the draft again because I feel like it. And I'm going to go get that left tackle. Felipe Franks and a 3 and a 5. It gets me the second round pick from the Dolphins. So with this pick, I'm going to take the left guard. Going to move him to right tackle. We should have a complete offensive line after this pick. 3 picks in a row from the Atlanta Falcons. Chris Beckworth come to the team. Hidden dev, 93 strength. That's probably better than the left tackle I drafted in the first round. Wow, I'm glad I traded up for him. So now I can get to the third round. Here we are after the offseason in the draft. Watkins is only 69 overall, so not that good of a first-round pick. But Beckwith was a great pick to trade up with. Super happy with that as he's going to play right tackle. Interior offensive line is the strong point, obviously. Amazing offense now. Defensively, Bush is a 76 overall. I'm super glad that I took him. He's going to move to right outside linebacker here, and he's going to play that pretty well, I believe. So that's good for us. Defensively, Bush there. Dunbar is a little bit better than Jones. Yeah. We have another Elam on this team. Aaron Elam out of Rice. Dunbar is only 69 overall. Nice. But, yeah, maybe we can have Gritty Williams play free safety, or I'll pick one up in free agency. But looks pretty solid. I believe Montez Sweat should be playing left end. I'm not going to move him, though. So everything else seems pretty good to me. Go to roster, go to free agents. What do we have in free agency? Will Lutz, Darrell Henderson. I'll sign him as actually a second string back. Darrell Henderson isn't that horrible. Tyler Bass, Averett, AJ Boye. No, Tariq Cohen. I don't know what I want here. Steven Nelson. I was trying to look for a free safety, if you guys have any. Thompson isn't that good. Adrian Phillips is 78 overall strong safety. I don't want to take Tedrick Thompson. Oh, these are so garbage, bro. These are so garbage of picks. Yeah, I don't want anyone else there. So apart from that, guys, it's now time to move into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark because we are 1-5. Okay. Sure, EA. Sure. Why not? Why are we 1-5? Vertical zone. This is always the schemes I run with. Why is this a problem? Is the defense a problem? Is the practice squad? No, not a practice squad. Specialist. If I always had a Lucan as an X Factor, but I'm not going to start him. Actually, I should start him because he is an X Factor. Got there. I don't see what's the problem. I don't know why we're losing. So, players ready to negotiate. Let's see what we got here. We have AJ Terrell, of course, we're going to want him back, up that money for him, and he resigns. Deion Jones, of course, I'm going to want him back as well, up the money, and he resigns. Matt Hennessy, we're going to up the money, and he resigns as well. Marlon Davidson, we're going to resign him as well. Super cheap deal. Spread out the contract, up the money, and he resigns. Watkins, Henderson. Everyone else here is a no. So apart from that, guys, it is now time to move into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs as we actually made the playoffs, taking the division. Coming off a win to the Bucks as they were 8-9. We knocked them out of the playoffs because of that. Panthers slip into the playoffs. We get the 3rd seed. And the Bears slip in over who? The Saints, I think it is. They slipped over the Saints. Stats and awards, let's see what we got here. We made a huge comeback on the season. That has to be MVP. Randy wins league MVP in his second year. Let's go. 5th best offense in the NFL. Defensively, 26th. Logical sense. Sure. Why not? 4,900 yards, 48 TDs, 8 interceptions. Kareem Hunt, 9 TDs, 4.8 per carry is great. 1,200 yards. Tyreek Hill, 1,500 yards, 13 TDs. Jacob Meyer, 13 TDs, 1,200 yards. That should be an X factor. Kyle Pitts, 851 and 9 TDs. looking into it defensively. Deion Jones, 115 tackles for a loss, 15 for Montez Sweat, sacks, 13 for Montez Sweat, and 9.5 for something. Interceptions, 4 for Fosa Lucan, 3 for Adrian Amos. Safeties is 0. Defensive touchdowns is 0. So anyways, guys, apart from that, it is now time to get into this game against the Philadelphia Eagles to see if the comeback on the season was actually worth it and our MVP quarterback can move on. Yes, he can. 29-28. Super close game. Let's see if we can beat our division rivals, the 9-8 Panthers. We are the first seed for a reason. Let's make it happen. Okay, sure. 47-30, and that's why we need defense, because our defense lets up 47 points. All right, let's move to the offseason. The Cowboys stomped the Titans in the Super Bowl. Michael Parsons wins Super Bowl MVP. Randy wins Offensive Player of the Year and MVP. That's awesome to see. Let's see the offensive upgrades. Randy obviously will have X Factor, so let's see what we got with him. And, yup, there's the X Factor. He gets freight train. That's fine. Jacoby Myers just consistently had 1,300 yards in the previous season, I believe, and then 1,200 yards in this season with 13 touchdowns. So he's going to get an X Factor whether you guys like it or not, and I'm going to save those changes. He's going to get that X Factor, 87 overall. Russell Gage stays at an 83. Defensively, looking into it, Sweat should get X Factor for 13.5, but I'm not going to give it to him. AJ Terrell gets Superstar Dev, which is cool. I think our run defense was terrible. I think it was 27th. Yeah, it was. So we're going to need to work on that in the offseason during free agency, or I'll even trade for Chris Jones from the Chiefs. That's probably what I'm going to plan to do with my first round pick, and so that way I can just get a better run defense, because we're going into the fourth and final season, so it doesn't really matter. 2023 retirements, let's see what we got here for the NFC South. Bruce Arians retires. I would have retired too if I didn't have Brady. Players ready to negotiate. We got $30 million to spend here. No one I really want, so I'm going to continue on. Actually, Darrell Henderson is actually a guy that I want just to keep around for the next season. So I'm going to sign him on that if he will do it. Offer's perfect. Good for me. So anyways, guys, it's now time to move into free agency. So I ended up only picking up Eric Kendricks in free agency. I was trying to go after Von Miller, but he rejected my contract even though I offered him the most money. So let's move to the draft. Trading my first, my third, and my fourth round pick for the defensive tackle Ed Oliver. I'm now trading my second round pick and my sixth round pick for Jadeveon Clowney. Even though he's old, he's really, really good in simulation, so I'm hoping he's going to clutch up for us. So now my next pick isn't until the fifth round, so I'm just going to get to the end of the draft here. This is the fourth and final overlook of the team. We are set on offense defensively. Ed Oliver, Jadeveon Clowney actually a superstar dev. Didn't even know that. Eric Kendricks is here. Very good defense as well. I usually have these good playbooks. Miami is usually a good playbook. I always run these schemes. So let's just skip to the playoffs. So here we are in the playoffs as we are an 89 overall here to face the 83 overall Bears, as we are 10-7 second in the division behind the 12-5 Carolina Panthers. We didn't get home field advantage, obviously, because we didn't win the division. And another great season by Randy. I don't think that's going to be MVP because he didn't have a lot of touchdowns. Not even top 10. 31 touchdowns, fourth in passing touchdowns, 18th best offense. Doesn't make a lot of sense. 11th best defense. Finally, 4,700 yards, 31 TDs, 18 interceptions is too many. 15 touchdowns, 4.4 per carry, 1,100 yards. Great season for Kareem Hunt. Tyreek Hill, 1,500 yards, 8 TDs, 9 TDs, and 1,100 yards for Jacoby Myers. So that's great to see. And dogs are barking. Sorry about that. Had to let the dogs out. They were just barking for no reason. Deion Jones, 122 tackles for a loss, 23 for Jadeveon Clowney, sacks, 16 for Jadeveon Clowney. That's what I was saying before. Even though I traded a second round pick for a 31-year-old regressing defensive end, doesn't matter. It's the final season. That's what I was talking about. He gets so many sacks. Montez Sweat with 13, Ed Oliver with 8.5. Interceptions, 6 for Fosa Lucan, 3 for AJ Terrell. Safeties is 1 for Marlon Davidson. Defensive touchdowns is 0. So anyways, guys, apart from that, let's see if we can hopefully beat the Chicago Bears as we're coming off a 30-15 win against the Washington Commanders. And we actually do it. 28-13, 16-1 LA Rams. Shit, I don't think we'll win this one. Yeah. Oh, it's upsetting that we couldn't even get to a conference championship with probably the best overall team in the league. I don't know how we're 25th in offensive points per game. It makes no sense. Our team is so good. Like, this is the overlook of the team, but like, how did we not go further? 98 overall QB, 99 X Factor receiver, 99 X Factor tight end, 90 X Factor wide receiver, 83 overall solid receiver. Kareem Hunt at 4.4 average and 15 touchdowns. Solid offensive line. I mean, yeah, they're not the highest overall, but still better than most offensive lines in the league. Great defensive line, 2 double-digit sacks. Great linebacking core, probably one of the best I've seen in Madden in a long time. Great secondary, 2 superstars in the secondary, solid depth at it too. Does the free safety, like the only thing that mattered? We had the 11th best defense. I don't understand what's wrong with the team. How are we 25th in points per game? So stupid. Anyways, guys, apart from that, I thank you guys all for watching. Tell me which team you'd like me to rebuild next, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.